Hey, how you doing? My name is Julio, and today I am doing the live stream for kind of the first time. I haven't done a live stream in a while, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. I'm in company of my co-host,
Robert
Robert.
Barbosa. How's it going, everybody?
So today we are going to talk about all this Epstein kind of drama mess with Pam Bondi, Catch Patel, Donald Trump, Dan Bongino, what is going on, and we're gonna try to dive in and what is the root of the problem because we need to find out whether
Yeah.
are they bought for, are they hiding something from us.
You
So
know, it's just so hard to, um, so many unknowns
yeah,
that you can't help but to think, man, Epstein was an operative. I mean, um, could he possibly be still out there looking at this chaos that he brewed?
hmm,
Because a minute, he's
yeah.
we have a minute that is claimed that it happens every night or whatever. That's why they're missing a minute, but minute,
Ironically, huh?
yeah.
Ironically, we're missing the whole minute, so we're gonna dive in into it. So I'm gonna let my friend Robert do his thing here, and I'm glad that you're here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, subscribe to this channel. That's the best way to help us out and also keep this channel alive. Thank you for joining us. And I'm gonna let my friend Robert say his couple words, his little monologue of what's going on today. I'm gonna leave you with Robert. Let's go, Robert.
So, I've been thinking lately about this whole Epstein situation, specifically the failures to the release of the client list. And I get it. People are frustrated, angry, disappointed. We all expected more, especially under an administration that promised to drain the swamp. But let me be real with y'all for a second and explain why I personally give Trump grace with this failure. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, let's zoom out for a second. We've been operating in what we call Trump speed. We got used to seeing things move fast. Border policy, fast. Foreign policy, fast. Economic shift, fast. But here's the truth, the US government is not built for that kind of velocity. It's slow, it's inefficient, it's wrapped up in red tape and career corruption. So when the Epstein files don't get released like we hoped, yeah, it's frustrating. But it's also not surprising when you really understand how this system operates. What really hits hard, though, is not just the silence, but who's being silent. Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel. These were loud voices, the ones that we thought would never back down. And Trump picked them. Why? Because they were fighters, because they talked like us. They weren't afraid to call out the corruption, but now radio silence. The energy shift. And now it makes you wonder what happened. Let's be honest. Trump can't do everything. He's not the arm, the leg, the brain, and the voice all at once. He delegates, he trusts. And when those people fail, yeah, it reflects on him a bit, but it doesn't mean he failed. Maybe, and this is just my thought, maybe the Epstein list is still being hidden because even his people got spooked. Maybe the threats are real. Maybe someone told them, back off or else. And I'll be honest with you, maybe even Trump is discouraged. The man's fighting 1,000 battles, legal fights, global threats, economic chaos, political war. He's still trying to keep this country from plunging into a World War III. You think he's got time to micromanage Dan Bongino, chase down Pam Bondi, doing what she's doing in the background? This is why I give him grace. Because even with this failure, Trump done more good than any president I've seen in my lifetime. And within 5 months, I remind you, could he have pushed harder on this? Sure. Should he be addressing it now? Probably, yeah. But don't act like Biden or Obama, if they were in office, we'd even know this was happening. It would have been buried 6 feet deep, labeled as a conspiracy theory, and forgotten. At least now we're talking about it. So, no, I'm not letting it go. And no, I'm not giving the people around him a free pass. If they failed, they failed. Maybe they need to be replaced. But what I won't do is hand over the anti-Trump crowd ammo that they've been begging for. Because if we're being honest, without Trump, this wouldn't even be a story. You know? And that's what I want to spark up today, a conversation. Should we grade the work of people like Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel? Should we look at their full record, not just this one failure, and ask, do they need to be replaced? Or do they just need to be held accountable? And one last thing before I wrap this up. Let's not forget what just happened. The one big, beautiful bill Trump just signed. That didn't come easy. That took real negotiation. It took months of deal making across the Republican Party from the Senate to the House, while juggling everything else we just talked about. Trump still made the time to sit down with the representatives who weren't even fully on board. He found a way to bring these people to the table. He got it passed. And that bill alone is safe to say that he completed 70% of his campaign promises. Just that bill. And that's what I mean when I say Trump speed. He's not perfect, but he's working. He's still delivering. So, yeah, again, I give him grace because in a time when this country feels like we're unraveling, he's still getting things done. So let's talk about it now. And I would like to hear everyone, if you guys are, coming in or being late, let us know what you think about this. Let's have this conversation.
Absolutely, man. That's a good point. So I want to bring a video. Probably a lot of people seen it already. It's about the video of the whole minute missing off the clock at the prison. They got the little
Yes.
camera at the prison. We're gonna roll that video right now. I got a radio over here on cue. We're gonna look at that video, and we are kind of react to it because it is baffling. How the whole minute skip and kind of it seems weird to me that the whole minute is gone. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
boom, gone. So let's play this video real quick. Let me do this real quick and
And I find it funny that you know our our forensic science can get answers down to the T. When we were doing this, I was did my own little investigation, and I could not find an exact number of the approximation of when he died.
mm,
And our forensic science today can determine that. And for whatever reason, we can't determine this one. We just know that they found him around this time frame. And again, this is these are questions that I believe the administration should answer it. And I know Trump basically said, why are we still talking about this? And I know why we're talking about this because the Dems are pushing this because uh, they're trying to legitimize what's going on. And back to this, I think Trump should push his people to answer these questions.
absolutely.
Let's
Let's
watch.
yeah, let's play this video real quick so we can watch it and please comment down below what your thoughts on this video.
Says there's no evidence that accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein kept any sort of client list or that he was murdered.
An exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. They committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that.
The DOJ also says it is not planning to release any new documents related to the matter, despite the fact that U.S. President Trump previously promised to release more files on Epstein. For years, right-wing media figures have suggested that the government is hiding secrets related to Epstein. During his feud with the U.S. president, billionaire Elon Musk accused Trump of appearing on those supposed files. The department also released hours of jailhouse security footage that shows no one entered Epstein's jail cell on the day he died.
Bro, I have one thing. I have one thing before we started.
Okay.
I have one thought. Have you realized that no Democrats is not?
I already know where you're going.
Is not complaining about not.
He's not that he's on the list.
Like they're not saying nothing about like
he's not on the list. And
why the Democrats are they should be for releasing the documents, but none of them are saying a word about it.
Yeah, because I'll tell you this: last year, and everybody, because everybody, even my daughter even tells me, "You're always for Trump. You're always for Trump." But here's the thing: last year they investigated Trump. Not just last year, his whole time that he was even president.
Since
They
2015,
they investigated him. They did that. If he was really on that list, he would be the scapegoat. They would have arrested him.
Yeah.
They would have took him to jail. They would have look how they're burying Bill Clinton's and the Prince and Tom Hanks and all the people that we do know that have gone to the island, right? So we know he's not on the list. Because if he had been, they would have just threw him in jail, lock him up forever, and then this would have been a whole different story.
Yeah,
and you would have had Kamala or Biden still, as president. So let's not. I think he's not on the list. That's just Elon. They went through a breakup. You know what I mean? He's got to throw shade somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but it is baffling to me. It's just like I'm not hearing Chuck Schumer. I'm not hearing AOC saying a word about what is going on, about why not releasing the files. And what is troubling is, okay, when Epstein got arrested in 2019, they were showing the videos of boxes, footage, paperwork being confiscated out of the residence in Miami, and they were claiming, "Oh, we have hundreds of videos. Where are they?"
And two, if y'all looked at our post, we put a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell, who was Epstein's wife, I think, right? Or girlfriend, but she was like the one that was getting these girls and then breaking the ice, so to speak, right? But basically, she's in prison because she has a client list, and they reduced her charges because she has a client list. So again, am I living in the Twilight Zone? Did that really happen? It happened, the Mandela effect. Don't tell me that's the Mandela effect, because I remember, she got a less charge because she has a client list and she gave up supposedly people. But where are they at? Where are they at though?
I don't know, man. I mean, it is troubling to me. Just thinking about like, okay, so you talked about 2019. Carrying boxes out of the residence, saying you have videos, you have paperwork, you have the flight logs, all of that.
Correct.
Then fast forward 6 years later, now you don't have none.
And see, this is my concern. What I was saying in my monologue, what I am concerned is that, look, Trump doesn't really, and I know I don't want to downplay this, but if you're the president of the United States, you've got tons of other situations. The stuff that's going on everywhere, not just in America, because again, he's a president, and as much as we want to be, America first, but he's trying to make well on his legacy. So unfortunately, Epstein is just one of the problems of 1,000 problems.
Yeah.
So that's why he's just trying, and I hope this reaches someone in the administration, because I think this is the what's going to break the camel's back for our midterm election,
Yeah.
or for, because this is the only thing solid that us Republicans care about. We care about justice, and these Democrats, if they get smart, they could push this and divide us. And if they divide us, divide and conquer.
Yeah, that is a good point because I was thinking about the same thing. Okay, they're not complaining. They basically they letting the Republican fall.
Yeah.
Like like what the saying is like if they making a mistake, don't say anything.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
let's make them make all the mistake they have to make. So now the Republicans are basically backing up, like out of their claim of transparency. Nothing is transparent now. It's more blurry than ever. And
Yeah.
now the Democrats are like waiting, collecting ammunition for the midterms, and they're gonna smear that off in our faces for the next 6 to 8 months
I
to
know.
the midterms.
Yes.
And we're gonna. I mean, if we don't fix this in a month or less, we're gonna have a big trouble in
And
the
see,
midterms.
Julio, we're short minded. I mean, we already forgot about a bunch of stuff, right?
Hmm.
We forget easily, and we just gotta. The administration, I believe, shouldn't dismiss this. I think they need to. I know, but again, it's because it's easier said being on this side of the table. Being on the president's shoes is a different story, because not only this Epstein's going on, the tragedy that happened in South Central
In
Texas
Central
with the
Texas, yeah.
flood, he's got to worry about that. And then at the same time, Israel and Iran are trying to make a deal,
Plus the
and
Congo.
yeah, plus the Congo. So he got all these things that if he hyper focus on one thing, something can be unraveled easily. Because I mean, Iran or Israel, and I'm just gonna say it, I'm not a fan of Bibi Netanyahu. I think that guy is a warmongering guy, and he might be like, "Oh, I seen him fart, so I threw a bomb," and and the war starts all over again because he's
Facts.
hyper focused on. But what I'm saying is, he does need to apply pressure on Pam Bondi to either give us the right answers or the truthful answers. If they want us, and I'm pretty sure if it was true that that New York FBI agent that was holding the stuff,
Mm,
the files and stuff,
yeah.
let's say he got rid of some of it.
Mm.
If that was true, which I think now is not true, they would have came out and easily blamed it. Look what they did. They got rid of this. But they didn't say that. They just said, it's not there, guys. That's what Dan Bongino said, which
I
that is
mean,
discouraging
it,
because
it
he was
is.
loud.
It is because he was he was the loudest out there
Yeah.
mentioning, oh, we need to bring down the deep state. We need to disclose all these documents. We need to be transparent and give it to the people because they asked for it. Now he's sitting on that position as deputy director of the FBI.
And
And what's going on? What happened?
exactly. Like Pam Bondi, I really don't know anything about her. I just know she was a district attorney or an attorney general for Florida,
Florida, yeah.
right? And Cash Patel, barely got to hear him out when he was going to the podcast with Sean. I think he went with Sean, right? Sean, can't think of his name,
Sean
but
Ryan.
huh?
So that wasn't Sean Ryan, right?
Maybe was it Sean? He went to a podcast and I heard him talk. Where that's where he was talking about he would shut down the
Oh,
Roosevelt.
Cash Patel. I think he was either to Glenn Beck or Sean Ryan.
I think it was Sean Ryan.
Sean Ryan, yeah.
But he basically, and I might be wrong, but he basically he basically said, he would shut the FBI, all the stuff. He was loud too, but Dan Bongino, I followed you, bro. You know, I followed you and I heard you. You said you were gonna do all this, or you criticize other FBI oh man, if this and that, he would get animated, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I would. And then once Trump announced him, I was like, my ninja, he's gonna do it. Yes, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, cool. Then this happens, and then I had a friend that told me, "Oh man, Pam Bondi has ties to Israel and Epstein. He's a very conspiracy guy, whatever,
Yep.
right?" My friend, and I'm over here trying to, no, 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 let's wait, guys, let's wait, and then this happens, and I'm like, man, it's like, seeing a game and your players that you thought were good started flopping, and it's just like discouraging. And I get it, y'all, but what we can't do is let the Dems use this to divide us and then blame that one man for a failure of his cabinet members, and honestly, I just think it's very, 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 very discouraging for
It
sure.
is. It is. If we move forward, let's say they solve this issue right now, right?
Yeah,
Let's say this weekend they come up with a list or some sort of kind of like crumbs, like, hey, we don't give you the whole list, but we give you these documents, and
correct.
and I believe they will be heavily redacted if they release anything. They will be heavily redacted. Do you think the people would be at peace with that? I mean, if they give us some
But
like some
redacted,
documents,
yeah.
you think the people would be like, ah, good, then move on to the next
I
subject?
think I would have preferred the redacted for sure. I would have preferred the redacted than this BS because this is so terrible, The
Yeah,
redacted, at least, hey, they at least tried. Um So, I think that as we talk about this, I'd really love to hear great minds and people like, JJ Carroll. I would really like to hear his thoughts on this matter, you know.
definitely. Talking about JJ Carroll, let's bring the one and only JJ Carroll to the scene.
Hey
Welcome.
guys,
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Are we going to talk about great minds of flat Earth? Is that what we're going to do, Robert?
Oh,
No,
no, I'm not ready
no,
for that.
no, we're not ready.
That
Man,
the
JJ, I have like 20 questions for you, but we don't have too much time because I know you have your show coming up soon. Um, JJ, what are your thoughts on this Epstein list? Like I was telling my friend Robert, in 2019, when Epstein got arrested, they were walking out with boxes of evidence,
Mhm.
supposedly evidence, out of the residence in Miami and some other places in New York of Epstein's videos, paperwork, you name it. And they were bragging about it. We have hundreds of documents. We got hours, whatever. And then 6 years later, nothing, dust, fairy dust. So, what are your thoughts on this issue? Because it's for me, it's just like a cake in the balls. Like,
Yeah, I think it's bigger than Epstein. I think Epstein, why MAGA is so frustrated and so upset at Donald Trump for dismissing us as he did yesterday in his cabinet meeting, is because I don't think Donald Trump knows or understands that we voted for him because we wanted the Epsteins, not Epsteins of the world. We wanted them
correct.
held accountable. We wanted justice. We're tired. We're tired of playing on a lopsided field, meaning the field is tilted up. We, the average American, are fighting day and night to make ends meet, to get our footing in America when the elites who are parasites are sucking off of us. So when Donald Trump dismisses us, when that reporter asked him about Epstein, that's why you're feeling this ripple effect. It's a tsunami, guys, what's happening out in the real world. Donald Trump has no idea that the big misstep that he just made with the combination of his amnesty calls and this debacle of Epstein. I think he's going to rip MAGA apart if he doesn't change what he said.
And I agree with you right there with earlier we were just discussing that. And, of course, me being super pro Trump and giving him grace. And my reasoning is because, just like what you said, man, you hit the nail on the head. And we were just saying that earlier, that Trump right now, being in the shoes of the president, he has thousands of things to worry about. And the Epstein is just another problem of thousands of problems that he's dealing with. And I think he's making a mistake dismissing this one problem because, like you said, a bunch of us voted for him to get rid of this corruption, to drain the swamp, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? And it just, I was telling him, am I living in a twilight? Is this the Mandela effect? I mean, they said that there's no client list, but Maxwell, or what, Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yeah.
she got a reduction of years because she gave up what? The client list. So, I mean, am I the only one that remembers
Yeah. She's
that?
in jail. Why is she in jail? Honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm her, I'm banging on the plexiglass. Like, I need to speak to the warden right now. Why am I in jail? I traffic no one to nobody. So what am I doing here? And Julio, more to your point, is this is why the lie is so blatant, and it's causing so much anger amongst the MAGA and I don't even say Republicans, the MAGA crowd, is because there are tens of thousands of DVDs. There's thousands of hours of child pornography, child rape. There's endless amounts of evidence showing that this man Epstein blackmailed his way into hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, and that the highest people at the highest level of our entertainment, government, religion, science community, et cetera, were blackmailed. They were coerced into or put into situations where they've committed the great sin, the taboo of pedophilia, and now they own them. And for Pam Bondi to come out, and she's an embarrassment now. For her
I
to come
know.
out and Dan Bongino to come out look like he's a ghost, and Kash Patel to tell us that there's nothing going on, it's a lie. It's an absolute lie. But maybe to answer your question even further, Julio, is what do I think? Like, let's take a step back or remove the emotion and the anger that there is no justice in America anymore, and understand that I really think two things are playing here. One, the powerful and elite are letting us know, all the people out here,
Yeah.
we
Good
know
point,
what we did, you know what we did, but you can do nothing to stop us or hold us accountable.
bro.
And the second thing that I
Oh,
believe they're doing, and this is just as important, they're signaling a message to all of the people involved in pedophilia and is more specifically in Epstein. Stand down. We got your back. Nothing's going to happen to you. And I think that's the message they sent. And it's a powerful message for Americans to understand we no longer live in a Republican government. We don't. In a representative government, we just do not. We are being ruled. The people that are in power are not in power. They're not. People that are outside them, the global elites, are running our country. And Israel is played in. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. Why do you think nothing's being done about Epstein? Like Epstein as a broad picture, not just Epstein, the pedophile, the bigger picture, the elites, laying all the cards out that these politicians, these entertainers, these media, they were having sex with children. They got honeypotted, and Israel and other foreign countries played effect in there. Why do you think we're not seeing this?
Well, I will tell you my point of view. It is you lay it out in your documentary. This is treason. When the elites behind the non-elected officials, the not elected, let's say all these families behind the politicians, came and basically bought and paid for all our politicians and blackmailed them, and they can do nothing about it. Basically, this is so deep, like you were saying, like this is so deep and goes beyond our politicians. This is go beyond borders, and they're telling us right now we can do nothing about it, and they will do nothing about it. That's my fear. all those kids that were missing, they're gone. They're not coming back.
And
And the kids that would be missing if the Democrats wins or whoever wins in the next 2 years or the next 3 years, it will be more the same.
and and again, what this is what I believe. I think after hearing Elon and Joe Rogan, that stuck with me forever when he
Mhm.
basically said,
Oh
I
yes.
found corruption. I don't want to press on it because they're going to kill me, right?
Yep.
How am I going to go to Washington, right? So when I hear that, and I remember Trump getting shot in the ear, and I think something changed there. And I want to say that Trump's not pressing on it too much because he realized he don't know all these agents that are undercover within his surroundings, right? And I think they're finding and realizing that, so they're not pressing on it. Like you said, I agree with you. I think the world, the boogeyman that's out there, or the boogeymans, right? Could be the WHO people, right? Um, they're probably like, hey, you have no power. And I think it's a reality that set in, and hence
Hmm.
why they're just now, because man, Dan Bongino, I'm discouraged about that. That dude went hard. He would talk
So
so
what do you
much.
think? Okay, let's talk about Dan Bongino. He talks just like me, talks like you
Yep.
and Julio. He talked saying if it was reversed, if this was still going on and he was not the deputy and he was in the Dan Bongino show, he would be railing like you and us. He would be
Yes.
railing nonstop that this is
Yep.
inexcusable. They're liars. They're traitors. When is somebody's going to be held accountable? So my question to you guys is, how did they get to him?
I mean,
Mm.
the simplest way. They probably showed. I mean, I watched too many movies, maybe, but they probably showed a video of his children and his wife or whatever he holds on dear to, and said, "Hey, this can this can happen. So what? You know?
Okay, I've thought about this. I thought about because I know some people that are in positions that could call me up and ask me to do something. I'm not to a deputy, not to the deputy director level, but to a level to where, let's say, somebody came and said, "JJ, we need you to be the child rescue czar. You're gonna create task forces like you did in your old job. You're gonna make this happen." And I go and I start digging and I start finding, okay, this politician and this politician, I have evidence. And if somebody walked into my office, literally, I've been thinking about this. Someone walked in my office, as I believe they did with Dan Bongino, and sat down, and I know he's from the intel agencies, and he says to me, "Hey, man, what a beautiful son you have." Like, just saying, here he is.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, and you hold this to me. And when this ever happens, you're going to know that I did it. I'm going to come out of my desk. I'm going to take my gun. I'm going to break leather, and I'm going to jam it right between his eyes. I'm going to blow his head off. Why would I do that? Because in my mind, they've already killed my son. They've already killed my wife. They have left me no choice but to come out and to allow them or to notify them on the spot. Anybody messes with my family, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And I don't think we have enough men in this world that will
And
do
to
that.
and and to your point, how do you think Trump feels? Because he took the bullet. He was like pressing and pressing, and he took the bullet. He fought, but then would I guess he probably won't feel to be like, hey, I need you to do it. If you're gonna do this job, I need you to sacrifice everything like I did. And I think
But
that's
why
kind of
shouldn't he
hard.
ask that? But why shouldn't he ask that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
okay,
good
so
point. Yeah,
Dan Bongino, before he took that job, or Cash Patel, they had to know. They
yeah,
had to know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
right?
true.
So,
Good point.
and when I'm looking at Donald Trump, and this is why when he got shot, I thought, okay, they just did the worst thing they could do is they shot their wad and they didn't get it. Now he's going to make all of his decisions based on someone's trying to kill me. Right. And that's if I was in charge, that's the decisions I would make. I'm going so fast and so hard that you are never going to be able to catch up with me. And the moment you raise your head out and I see your dirty, disgusting traitor's head, I'm going to take it off your shoulders. And we're not doing that. How did Cash Patel? How did Dan Bongino? Forget Cash Patel. I don't know of him
Yeah, I don't know
much.
too much. Me neither. Yeah.
But I look at Dan Bongino as someone that I admired, and I don't know his personal life so much. I know that he was a federal agent, went into this world, and it became like the top guy in this world. Here I am coming out of a federal agency. I start my career differently than Dan Bongino, but I want to obtain the level of platform that he had. He would be saying the same things that we're saying today, guys. So what in God's name happened? And here's you say, Robert, that you're disappointed. I'm extremely disappointed because here's what I really believed. I believed that Dan Bongino was in a zero-sum gain situation, meaning he's leaving behind. It was almost 3 million followers.
Yeah.
3 million. He was
Yeah.
making millions of dollars a month, not a year, a month. When he took this job, he had to know, if I don't deliver the goods, I can never come back to that life because there's going to be no one there. And if he continues to go the route he's going, he's not going to average 20,000 views a video, more or less 2 million.
And you're right, because there was an interview when he was with Cash Patel, and they were in the Hoover
building.
Yeah, and he basically said what you just said right now. He was like, I didn't want to be here, and I'm telling you, like, it was not the same Dan Bongino. He almost sound broken, and he said exactly what you said. He goes, but he sounded like he realized
I'm screwed.
Yeah, he's screwed.
Yeah,
And
I got the feeling now we see the separation of Elon Musk from Donald Trump, and we see the crumble of the Patel and Bongino. I feel that Bongino saw the same people that saw Elon Musk,
who gave him that black
who
eye?
gave him that black eye, and backed off of it.
Yeah.
And that's why Elon Musk is starting his own party, because he knows the left and the right are bought and paid for, and he can do nothing about it
Yeah.
to rectify those two parties. So that's why he started the third one. And then Bongino saw, the devil's horn, and basically gave up.
So
That's my point.
So-
But
AJ.
hold on a second, Robert. I just want to follow up on this Dan Bongino, because I think Dan Bongino's story is bigger. Like in a year, 2 years, 5 years, it's going to be enormous compared to what we're talking about. When does it? And I don't know the answer to this, or I think I do. When does a man get pressed so much that he feels
Cowardly.
where he has to make that decision? Am I going to be a coward, or am I going to go out with my guns blazing? Which one am I going to take? And I've told my son this, and I don't know. I'm just surmising on Dan Bongino, but I'm just going to tell you how it looks to me. And I told my son this. We were watching a movie, the old remake of Red Dawn, and one of the guys in the movie turns on Americans and works with the Russians or whoever it was. And my son said, "How could he do that?" My son was 12. "How could he do that, Dad?" And I said, "Son, there are cowards in the world that all they care about is living. However, they don't understand when they become a coward, they are now trapped in a prison in their mind,
Yep.
and they can never escape it because they will always know they're a coward." I said, "Your dad and men like him, like me, would rather just die fighting than ever be trapped in that prison, that miserable prison that you're a coward." So my question is, when is that? When is that moment where you have to make that decision? I'm a coward, or I'm going to go out fighting. How do you choose coward? How?
Yeah. How? Yeah.
I think he folded, man.
And so that goes to the question, like, who spoke to him, and what spooked him that bad?
Yeah.
Because I mean, he has, like you said, federal agency. He was a Secret Service, right? So
Secret Service. He's
he
not.
was-
He's been there, done it, man.
like
Yeah.
he would sacrifice himself for somebody. So that's brave in itself. So what made this brave guy that a coward?
I mean, that's a deep state at work. They pull
Man,
him
you
out.
just blew my mind,
Yeah.
JJ.
They just pulled Dan Bongino out of his main resource, which is live stream, and get him out of the deal with Rumble.
Well,
So
he got
basically,
himself out of it
so
because he
basically
took their
cut that
position.
money supply,
Yeah.
put him in the position that he cannot back up, and he took a big pay cut to be on the cabinet of Donald Trump. Now, like you were saying, JJ, he cannot come back because there will be nobody there to listen to him.
Because we just witnessed him become a coward.
Yeah.
And
Now-
no matter at this point what he does, I mean, you know,
Well, we're basing this off of body language. We're basing this off of evidence. We're basing all of this on a not just a body language, but everything. But when you look at like Pam Bondi yesterday, and you look at who the people that were sitting around her, it was uncomfortable.
Mhm.
yeah.
Everybody looked uncomfortable. Everyone looked like they were lying. No one looked like they did 2 weeks ago, a month ago, where they're kind of laughing, they're kind of joking around because they knew they were on a team and they were doing God's work. Now they're lying. And when you lie to Americans, especially MAGA, we're going to leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to leave
And
you.
see, and that's what I'm afraid that this one weakness, whether Donald Trump looks at it as like it's just one little issue, right? But this one little issue, the Dems are going to be smart to, like you were saying earlier, they're being quiet. They're letting us eat each other. And my fear is that we get to a point where we're like the Democrats 2016 when they were eating each other when they took away Bernie Sanders and put Hillary Clinton and they were fighting on amongst themselves and
Yep.
we stayed quiet. We were just like, oh wow, they did that to you, Bernie. That's so messed up, you know. and now I feel like if the Trump administration doesn't address this little problem that they think it's a little, it's
gonna
actually a
bad.
huge problem
Yeah.
because it's like you said, an underlying thing. We don't care about no Epstein. We care about the Epsteins.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and then the Diddy case is just they're getting off, you know, and
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
just,
Well, think about this. I don't believe in anything coincidental. I don't
Yeah.
in law enforcement, everything's connected. How do you try to convince me that James Comey's daughter runs the DOJ
yeah,
prosecutor of the Diddy
yeah.
and Epstein, absolves both of them on
Yeah.
the same weekend,
Oh man.
and then the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu comes back to America? You would think he's an American politician. He's that much time in DC. How that's not coincidental.
Make that make sense. You know what I mean? Like what is going on, man?
I know. Hey
Ah.
JJ, I'm gonna boil your blood for a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you this video, and that's someone that you actually admire. Let me show you the
Oh,
video.
this so-
There's someone that you hold dear to your heart. Let me show you. Let me play that video for you, and hopefully you don't unfriend me on Facebook.
Okay.
But,
I can't wait to see this.
yeah, let's do it. Let's play this video for you.
Oh God.
Give me your thoughts on this.
You know she's bald under that thing.
Really? Oh, hold on. I didn't know audio.
You know she's bald under that thing. She only got like
Really?
2 strands of
Hold
hair.
Causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be
Oh, hold on. Come on. Facebook is killing me. Let me go back to the video. It was Elon Omar doing here.
She's wonderful. I love her. White men are terrible except her husband, right? Her husband's
I
white.
know.
I know. If we go to that route,
Which husband? The brother or her husband?
Oh no, not the incest. I mean, my God, dude. Come on, Julio,
sorry.
play it. Go ahead and play it.
oh, okay, I'll play it for you now. I'm back. So let me go play
All
this
right.
real quick. I'm surprised that she's still in our office. You know, so
Yeah, they shouldn't let foreign or
and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men. I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring.
Yeah, she is so wrong on
I
that.
know.
Well, then
Especially-
what I love to talk about are facts. So less than 2% of the population of the United States of America, those are black men from 16 to 34, less than 2% commit over 50% of the homicides. 50%. We're not talking about rapes. We're not talking
Rapes.
about we're not talking about assaults and car theft and jails and all that. Just 2% on murders. Okay. So just factually, she's wrong. But she's a racist. She's a piece of scum. She comes from when you talk about a third world country, when you start thinking of third world countries, one of the number one countries that pop out is Somalia. Somalia, it's a rat hole. So she comes from a rat hole and it makes $75,000 a year. She couldn't make $175,000 in 100 lifetimes in that crap hole she comes from. Then she marries her brother and commits immigration fraud. She should be removed from Congress and put in jail. Period. But for her to sit there and to castigate a group of people, white men, which I am one.
What JJ, you're causing me fear right now, okay?
Oh, I know. It's the white supremacy that I have and all the white privilege that's bestowed upon me from birth.
Have you seen The Privilege?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm swimming in it. Can't you tell? I'm slumming with you two guys. That's how much privilege I have.
It's
Man.
just, man, she is terrible though.
I know.
We
and-
shouldn't allow man, the rule that we have that a president has to be a citizen, we should have that for our House and Senate, man.
Yeah, definitely.
This is, and even judges. There's
Well, here's something that has to be discussed, and Julio, you and I discussed this when I was in studio with you, is why we have massive amounts of congressmen and senators that have dual citizenship.
Mhm.
How can you be in the House of the Congress and Senate and be a dual citizen? What in God's name are you talking about? And I could go right now and Google Ilhan Omar talking to Somalians in America. And when she's speaking her whatever that gutter language is that she's speaking, she's saying, I'm making decisions on what's best for Somalia, not Somalian Americans, which I would still have a problem with, but Somalia, the nation. Why is she not removed as a traitor immediately?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
That is a very good point.
But you know why they won't do that? Because and I know, go ahead and start the anti-Semites. How many Jews in the Senate and the House have dual citizenship with Israel and continually vote for billions and billions of dollars to Israel? That's why they're not going to do anything, because Ilhan Omar's smart. She's going to say, wait a minute, whoa, hold on a second. I have a list of 250 congressmen that have dual allegiance and dual citizenship with Israel and have voted consistently to give Israel billions of dollars. I just wanted $100 million to build roads in Somalia. And you know what? She has a point. She has a valid point.
Yep. And that is so messed up. I don't know how we as conservatives allowed all this to happen for not being, MAGA should have happened around Reagan and should have kept strong all the way through. Because the thing is, how can you have allegiance to two countries? You can't do that as a citizen when you get your citizens, right? So why are we allowing that for our people that make our laws here? Imagine a Chinese nationalist comes here and for 10 years, and then guess what?
Become a senator.
Becomes a senator and does exactly what Elon does, or Omar, whatever her name is. I don't know.
But that's not far-fetched, right? That's not far-fetched anymore. We have illegal aliens that are sitting in Congress. Dalia Ramirez, that fat
Oh yeah,
that fat woman from Guatemala, right?
dude.
Oh,
Oh
by
my
the way,
gosh.
By the
yeah.
way, JJ, before you get started, that video went viral like 3 times already.
Yeah, it keeps going. I keep seeing it coming at me 2 million, 4 million. And then I go, okay, I guess that's over. And then someone else finds it and it spins in my algorithm. And I'm like, oh, I'm talking about that fat Guatemalan illegal again, you know? And I'm just, but there are more of her in the Senate, in the House. And it's
scary.
But we have the enemy of our government, of the American people inside our government. Our federal government is the enemy of the people. I believe that. I've written books about it. I talk about it on speeches I give. And I never cared, but I absolutely have zero care. When I go talk to Republican groups, and they're big. Some of them are a couple hundred to 1,000 to 50. It doesn't matter. And I tell them all, the enemy of the American citizen is our own federal government. And they all like take a deep breath. I go, well, and I follow up. Well, tell me how they're not. Go ahead. I'm going to use my whole hour to allow you to have time to come up with an explanation that my statement's false. And it's just silence. Because tell me something the federal government has done that has benefited us. Oh, the Obamacare benefited us.
No.
$300 billion to Ukraine, and Trump just authorized more money for weapons to Ukraine. Did you guys vote for Trump to give more money to Ukraine?
Nope.
What happened to I'm going to have this stopped in 24 hours?
24 hours.
We're on month 7 now, sir.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for any. You know what? Nick Fuentes, I listened to him last night. He did like a monologue for 6 minutes on it, and he was absolutely right. Everything that is happening today, we never voted for. This is stuff that should have been taken care of on day one. We're fighting about it. If I wanted amnesty, I would have voted for Harris. If I wanted Epstein to continue on his legacy, I would have voted for Harris. If I wanted to fund the Ukraine war, I'd do Harris. If I wanted to bomb Iran, I would have voted for Harris. Everything that I would have voted for Harris for, Trump's doing.
Ironically.
Yeah.
I mean, he took the money from Iran and then give it to Ukraine.
See, that's the thing, though.
That's what he's doing right now. Like, we used to send pallets upon pallets of dollars, like millions of dollars in pallets every month to Afghanistan and Iran. Now we're gonna give it to Ukraine.
Yeah, that's
make
nuts.
it make sense.
That's nuts, man.
You can't make it make sense. It's like telling me the Earth is a globe and spinning 60,000 miles into space. Robert, go ahead and make it math out for me.
I know. I'm still wrapping my head around it.
Oh,
it's been like 2 weeks already, and I'm still watching videos try to make it make sense, and it doesn't make sense.
Do you guys? Let me on a side note. Do you guys? And we're talking about Flat Earth Dave. Flat Earth Dave told me off the side, he goes, once you start to think about it, I promise you will think about it every day. I thought about it every day. Is it true? Is that happening to you guys?
Yeah, it's happening to me. Yeah. I start, it's because the thing is, I know they've deceived us, man. They've deceived us for so many years, and we're finding this out. Whether I still think that the Earth is flat, probably not yet. I think I have another question for him about the latitude and longitude. It goes off degrees of a globe, right, from the equator. So on that, the same metric system, how would that work on a flat Earth? I mean, I understand you can make lines, but as is now, it goes off of a curvature. So,
I don't have 100% belief in it, but damn it, if every day it gets closer,
it's in my mind, though.
Every day I'm thinking that doesn't make sense.
And Dave is smart. He's a smart man.
Oh yeah, this is not some kook. And when you start going down that road, you start watching videos. We're talking about guys that have alphabets behind their names and they're physicists and you're just like, whoa. I think to the broader point is this is the greatest accomplishment of the evil globalists and the leftists is they've made us question everything. Something that could be so simple, we now question it. Everything. I mean, look what they're doing with Epstein. Hey, the FBI sees 20,000 DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now you're telling me they don't exist. Do you know how many 20,000 DVDs? You know what kind of space that takes up? 20,000 DVDs? I mean, that's like it's bigger than a gigantic U-Haul
Yep.
filled with DVDs, and no, there's nothing. And then everyone in America has to nod and go, yep. But I don't, at first, my first reaction was, this will play out and die. My now reaction 24 hours later is, no, this is not going to die.
And you know, that interview with Pam Bondi, she messed up because you brought something that reminded me. She said that, oh, there's thousands of videos, but they're all child porn and that'll never get released. Well, hold on.
Who was
Who was performing that? Was it Epstein? Because from what we hear, he had parties and he had cameras in all the rooms, like kind of Diddy. So kind of like seems like they have the same story, right? So why aren't you arresting the people that are performing those things? You know, I mean, we know they're celebrities. We know they're, you know, oh my gosh, it's just.
But that's the straw man she puts up. She says, I'm never going to release those videos about and to show those children. Well, ma'am, I don't need you to release those videos, and you can blur out the children. I want to. I want the faces of the politicians and the elites. I want them blown up and saying, okay, this man, whoever it is, was having vaginal intercourse with a 3-year-old. These 5 men were running a train on a 16-year-old girl. I want that because I know it exists. You cannot, you will never convince me that this man didn't do this. We're so close. You're going to laugh. We're this close to, we have a statue of Anthony Fauci, who is the saint of vaccinations and scientists. We're about to erect a statue of Saint Epstein, the overseer and caretaker of young children. We're that close. We live in such a perverse world that that's not far from reality. That we've done this. It's shocking, guys. It's absolutely shocking.
Yeah, and see, Dr. Fauci, that's another thing.
Man,
right that is like, oh my gosh.
That's another topic for another day.
You know, I found out that
he was behind it.
He was behind it.
Yes, he was.
Holy
with
crap.
the NIH in the AIDS.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, this guy's been there for. And I hate to sound an anti-Semite, but wasn't he a Jew too? Like, dang, you know. Fauci,
think about
God,
he ran the AIDS epidemic, and he created the chaos and the fear and everything, and told us all the wrong things then, and here he is again.
Man, he's crazy. We could go on and on all day about it, because this is the corruption that you laid out in your documentary, JJ, is coming through.
Unfortunately,
the swamp is everywhere. Not politics, but industry,
Hollywood,
everywhere.
Academia,
religion, they're everywhere. It's not only in Capitol Hill, it's everywhere.
And you know, the scary thing is that which, you know, I'm so an optimist, so I try to find all the good things about the bad things. So the good thing of this is that we're questioning everything. So it's kind of making the word woke, you know, to fruition. We're like actually questioning everything. I mean, we're questioning if the earth is a globe. We're questioning whether, and I think we need to keep that track. And that's the good thing of this, you know, for those that are kind of discouraged of hearing that basically this corruption is like deep rooted everywhere. And you called it out in your book, you know.
Well, I think what I really believe this, guys, is if shows like yours continue to talk about the truth and talk about things that matter, there will come a time when Americans will hit their limit. I don't know what that limit is, but there's a time where we're going to hit a limit where we're going to say no more. And then we are going to rise up and take to the streets and take our country back. I know that's cliche, but it's actually factually true. Humans will hit, every human has a point of no return, and we're getting closer and closer to that. And I don't really think that happens until people begin to starve and can't get access to food. And I think that I believe it's going to rest on the shoulder of men, not all men, because not all men have the courage to do this, but a significant percentage, and only need about 4 to 5 to 6% of the American men to rise up and basically wrangle control of our nation back. But it's going to be If that happens, it will be bloody. It will be violent, that you have never seen violence like this before. And it will be shocking. And America will never, ever be the same. That's why no one wants it.
And it almost feels like we're in the brink of it, like it's almost like we're just almost there. And when I seen that bullet fly on Donald Trump's ear, I thought that was gonna be it, you know?
Yeah, but think of this, and I got to go, but I want to say
Yeah.
to this: we had a president attempted assassination on his life, took his ear, split his ear open, could have died on TV, and we don't even talk about it.
Yeah. That's
It's like it never happened.
Yep.
It's like an event that never happened. And he almost, well, he got shot once, and he almost got killed again at the
Yep.
golf course, and
Mhm.
nobody
Nothing.
bats nothing.
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 Just but crickets. But JJ, thank
Thank
you,
you
my
so
friend.
much.
I really appreciate always you cooperating and showing up in our show, and I'm really appreciative of your commitment to say the truth. And also, you can follow JJ at YouTube at JJ Carroll. Also, buy his book, Threesome. This is Threesome and Invaded. They're pretty good books. I have them laying around, but I want to show you next time. I'm going to show you somewhere on the screen so you can get it.
No, the guys, I appreciate it. I love our conversation. Let's keep this going, because I think there's so many questions that need to be answered, and it's going to take bold men to be able to stand up and say the truth and be unafraid of what people are going to say about us, because history will prove us right. This is just common sense. This is being a good Christian men, and I believe that we'll fall on the right side of history. So thank you very much,
Amen.
guys. All right.
Thank you, JJ.
Take care,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you have it. It was JJ Carroll once again in our show. Man, I'm telling you, JJ is a great voice. This need to be heard. Everybody needs to be watching. I'm gonna put the links of the on his books down below so you can watch it. Also, the documentary that he has done. He done 2 documentaries on what's going on, all the deep state in the United States, and how intertwined are the power, the elites with our politicians. So it is a very good documentary. So with that being said, we close our shop for today. This is our live stream. It's about an hour and 4 minutes on it. So if you like this content and you really like more of this, let us know. We read your comments, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. We read your comments. We really appreciate you showing up to this live stream. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for everybody that's commenting. We're going to go through the list and go one by one, and probably reach out to you guys. Thank you, appreciate it. Keep it civil. If this prolongs more, obviously, we'll get to you as soon as we can. But thank you so much, and let us know what you think. JJ Carroll, great mind, great perspective, and hope we can get them into the show again.
Yes.
Thank you,
So
guys.
thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment down below. I'll see you in the next.